China is well on its path to being an economic and military superpower, but the country's large dependence on oil imports for meeting its energy needs is an increasing headache for the Chinese Communist Party. Between 1980s to 2020s, China's GDP increased 80 times, from 190 billion to 15 trillion US dollars, which means a massive increase in infrastructure, industry, and manufacturing. Likewise, the oil consumption increased from 1.8 million barrels per day to 13 million, 59% of which comes from direct imports. Around 8 million barrels per day of crude oil was imported in 2017. Such high dependence on other countries involves high risk, especially when China is involved in multiple territorial and political disputes. The oil crisis of 1973 sets a perfect example of why major economies should be self reliant in meeting its energy needs. In October 1973, the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries, led by Saudi Arabia, proclaimed an oil embargo, or a ban on oil trade with the nations that supported Israel in the Arab Israeli War of 1973. Initially, this was targeted towards Canada, Japan, Netherlands, the UK, and the US, but later the embargo was extended to a few other European countries. By the end of the embargo in March 1974, the price of oil had increased to 300%, from $3 per barrel to 12, with the prices in the US being significantly higher. This led to an acute shortage of oil with multiple short term and long term effects on the global economy. The oil embargo caused the United States and the Western European countries to reassess their strong dependence on Middle Eastern oil. It led to changes in the domestic energy policy, including an increased domestic oil production in the United States and a greater emphasis on improving energy efficiency. Oil sanctions are one of the main reasons why China is keen on being self sufficient in energy. Maintaining such a huge GDP can become impossible if sanctions are imposed, and China knows this very well. Before we move to the next part, please like this video and subscribe the channel if you love the content. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. The sun and the stars generate heat and light by converting hydrogen to helium via nuclear fusion reaction. This reaction occurs when one atomic nuclei of an element combines to form another element under high pressure and heat. In case of a hydrogen-helium conversion, isotopes of hydrogen that are deuterium and tritium are used. The molecular weight of deuterium is 2 atomic mass unit and tritium is 3 atomic mass unit. When these two combine under high pressure, they form helium weighing 4 atomic mass unit. The remaining is released as heat energy. If 1 ton of deuterium were to be consumed through the fusion reaction with tritium, the energy released will be equivalent to 29 billion tons of coal. This is sufficient to power cities for millions of years. But at the present, nuclear fusion reactions have produced less energy than that required to initiate the process. Scientists have been trying to generate energy from the nuclear fusion for more than 70 years, but sustaining temperatures 5 times higher than the sun's core creates several challenges. Major countries like the US and Russia had various experiments on their part of the research, but none of them have been successful in sustaining such a reaction. France and South Korea had success with running a nuclear fusion reaction, but these reactions were short-lived. For example, the previous record for the nuclear fusion reaction was 6.5 minutes, done by France in 2003. The artificial sun was a nickname to China's nuclear fusion experiment conducted at EAST that was able to sustain 70 million Celsius for 17 minutes, a record-breaking number that took the attention of the world media. If a nuclear reaction could be sustained for 17 minutes, then it's a matter of time to achieve a reaction that could run for several hours or even days. The EAST experiment requires 100 megawatts to initiate the reaction, but it was able to produce 30 megawatts only. At this efficiency, the project is far from being commercialized. Yet, China continues to run the experiment, which will cost it $1 trillion by the end of June 2022. China has deep pockets, and its EAST project is well ahead of its competition. Mastering the nuclear fusion technology will help China in achieving self reliance in its energy needs and also enjoy the strategic importance in global politics. What do you think about China's nuclear fusion project? Please share your views in the comment section below.